Hello guys and welcome back to the bench. So we have got the Noveske Ghetto Blaster and we've got a few bits that have arrived for it. We've got a couple of Jaeger Precision's mag loaders, one for the Stanag type mag and one for the P mag style, because I've also gone and got myself a bunch of these. These are the Guns Modify P mag. I think they're the version 3. I'm wrong. Yeah, version 3. Same 35 rounds. I think these are going to be the mags that I'm going to run in this. Yeah, I think they look pretty cool. Yeah, so I'm happy with them. Obviously with the Stanag, like I say, with like I said in the last video, with the lips, they're a little bit loose and a bit wide. So when I was playing in the garden, I did have the occasional BB popping out, which obviously wasn't ideal. So I think I'll keep it on my belt as a spare, but I think we'll be running these on the game days. So that was just to quickly show that off, show what I'm going to be running with it. But I've also got the nub that Jaeger Precision sells for the MWS, which I'll be putting in today. And I've got a few rubbers here. I'll probably go for the Flamingo, because that is one of my go-tos. Right, so to change or to get the hop unit out, it is a bit of a bitch on this, if I'm honest. These bolts are stupidly tight when it come. I've loosened them off camera because I didn't look like an idiot in front of you guys, but I've seen people strip them. I use a soldering iron to try and heat them up, try and get them off that way, but I was close to stripping the head on the bolt. So I actually don't do this. This is silly, but I actually got my impact driver out the shed, way overkill, just to get them, obviously the impact, the way it sort of vibrates on the screw, just to break the initial, I don't know what you call it, because they were so secure. The only way I could get them out was to just give them a little dud, and then took them out by hand the rest of the way. So I went very easy on it, but yeah, just as a note, if you are going to get one of these rifles, go very easy on these bolts, because yeah, they're not made of the best material, so they're quite easy to strip the heads, and then you'll be drilling them out, which again obviously isn't ideal. So to get the handguard off, to get to the hop unit, there's 6 bolts. There's 2 on each side and 2 on the bottom, so we'll get them out quickly. Like I say, I've already loosened these, so yeah, when you get the rifle, if you get the rifle, they will not be this easy to undo, trust me. I've seen, it's not just mine, I've seen a few people struggling. I saw Jaeger Precisions, he managed to get his off with some Superman strength, but I've also seen another guy that managed to strip or strip 3 of the heads, and he ended up at his local airsoft shop to get them drilled out. And obviously he's changed the bolts to something a bit different. So in future, I may upgrade these bolts to titanium bolts, just so I've got a little bit more trust in them when I'm attacking them with a T20, and that is what you need to undo them, a T20 Torx. So once those 6 bolts are out, again, keep track of all your bolts and stuff, don't want to lose anything. The handguard will just slide off the front. We'll put that to the side for now. One thing that's quite cool, it's got a little pin in the top of it, which lines up with a pin in the top of the upper receiver here, so you don't have to worry about it sort of being off center or anything. It's always going to be straight. So to get the I think they call it the gas block, this part off, there's 2 Allen keys on the bottom here. I'm not sure on the size. We'll start with a 2, and they look like a 2 to me, and we'll see how we get on. Yeah, looks like a 2. They're nice and easy to undo, thank God. They're just little grub screws, so oh, there we go. I'm paranoid now with everything on this rifle, so I'm just taking my time with it, making sure I'm not going to strip any of the threads or anything. So actually, let's take them all the way out. Just pop them to one side. They're very small, so again, keep track of them. Don't want to lose them. And then the gas block, whatever you call it, should just slide. Oh, I'll take this off as well. Should just slide off. There we go. It's a little bit stiff, but that's fine. One thing I'm not the biggest fan of, I know it's the Noveske look, but it's the silver, or whatever you want to call it, brushed aluminium look outer barrel here. I think in future I may spray this black. Again, most people may not like that, but I may have to. It bugs me a little bit. I don't know why. Everything else is obviously tan and black, and then this, yeah, I'm not the biggest fan of it, but it is what it is. So the barrel nut, oh, here we go again. We've got to get this off. Yep. Give me 2 secs, I'll be back. Right guys, we are back, and we are now loose on the old barrel nut. Had to get this bad boy out of the shed to help me out. But yeah, it's all loose now. What I'm going to do though, before I take this off and take the outer barrel off, something I should have probably done earlier, is just strip it down a little bit further, just make it a bit easier to work on. So we're going to pop the rear pin out. That one comes out nice and easy. The front pin is a bit stiffer, so probably need a little tap. Where are we? I'll just use that, that'll do. Again, probably better if you've got a hammer, but I'm lazy and I can't bother to grab one, so that will do for now. So now the upper and the lower should, in theory, there we go, split apart. So we'll put the lower to one side for now. And what we'll also do is take the bolt out, just pull on the charging handle and the bolt comes out with it. And again, put that to the side for now. So now we're stripped down a little bit further, just a bit easier to work on. You could do that at the start, obviously, before you took the handguard off. The barrel nut comes undone, and then the whole outer barrel comes out. And again, we can put that to one side for now. Oh, there's your hop adjuster, by the way, in there. It's got a little wheel here to spin to increase and decrease the hop. So yeah, that's for your hop adjuster. And here is the hop unit, and hopefully this should just pop out. Oh, it's tight. Everything seems to be super stiff on this this rifle. I mean, I'm not complaining. I'd rather it be stiff than loose, but I've got a little flathead or something I can put in there just to pry it out. That should do. You may not need to do this, but my one seems a bit tight, so I'm just gonna come on. I think it's because there's an O-ring inside here that it's fighting against. So I just want to be, there we go. Once that's popped through, there we go. And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to, just going to pop that O-ring out. I've got to remember to put that back in afterwards. Looks like that sits around the barrel there. So that's your outer barrel. Let's pop that back on there. Outer barrel off, and now we have the bit we need, which is the hop unit. So the hop adjuster inside the upper receiver there has a little lever that lifts up on here, which then pushes down on the bucking and obviously applies pressure onto the rubber. So we are going to put in a new nub, which is the Jaeger Precision's MWS nub, and also in here I have a Flamingo, I think it's a 50. So these are one of my go-to rubbers, or were, but I do like them, so we'll stick with that for now and see how we get on. So these hop units are really easy to take apart. There's two O-rings. There's one at the front of the hop unit, which is just here, which will just peel back slightly there, and then there's another O-ring around. Where's my flathead gone? around the hop unit that we just need to basically just holds everything together. Just need to pop that off and then push that down as well. I think I'm right in saying on the MWS Tokyo Marui platforms, these O-rings are the same, but on this O-ring's slightly smaller than this one, so make sure you remember the order of them. And there we go, it just literally falls apart. It's just held together with that O-ring. So it's very, very simple hop unit. It's two-piece design with a little lever that sits in the middle. Yeah, very, very simple. No thrills, but it works well. So that is the old nub, that little piece of rubber, just like a little rubber cylinder, which again is okay, but you're not going to get any great performance out of something like that, and it's not going to be lifting the sort of BBs that we want to be going with, which is sort of 3/2s and upwards. So that's why we've gone for this this bad boy here. So let's get this out of the packaging. So this is a nice concaved nub. You can see it's got a nice concave to it, and that will hopefully apply a lot more pressure down. So we'll take the old bucking off as well, because we don't want to be using this. I'm going to keep the barrel the same for now. It is around 200mm in length, so I will be looking for another potential replacement barrel, but nothing I'm too worried about at the moment. Just wanted to get the bucking and the bucking and nub, sorry, changed, and then we can have a good idea of performance from there. So we need to get this on. We're going to be looking to, there's a line on the back of the barrel, a groove, and there's a groove inside the rubber. So you just got to line them up when you pop it on, and then make sure it all sits on there nice and flush. And if you look down, the window, the cutout in the barrel, should be where the contact patch on the inside the rubber sits, which looks like it is on there good. So that part is done. Which way should we do this? Let's do it this way. I think it'd be a bit easier. So you have a little piece of rubber sticking out of the bucking this side. That goes into the slot in the hop unit here. And that obviously holds, that stops it twisting and keeps that nice and there you go, you can see it slotting in there. We will need to get we'll put the arm in first, which just sits in like so. And then one thing that's very cool about these nubs, which is one thing I really like, you can see it's got these fins that stick out. They actually slot in to this little groove. And what that does is, it's hard to show, but the way this applies pressure and it pulls towards the back, and without those fins holding it in line, making sure the pressure is going down, it tends to push the nub backwards, and you're going to lose some of the downward pressure there. So this just aids in keeping the pressure on the right area, the right contact patch. So let's pop this in. We're going to be able to do it without tweezers. Hold that up. This can be a bit fiddly, but we'll get there. Yeah, that looks like that's in the right place. And then we'll get the other half of the hop unit on. And I'll try and show you, obviously, once I've got this, put the O-ring back around to secure it all in place. Here we go. You'll see what I mean about the fins there. Where you apply pressure down, the little fin stops the bucking from pushing back, and it applies pressure in the right area. I always like to have a little look down the barrel as well and make sure it's all, yeah, that looks good to me. So I'm just going to push this other O-ring up to the front, so it's nice and snug against the front of the hop unit. That's just like a little buffer for it, I believe. And there we have the new, hopefully it's a little bit loose, but I'm hoping once it goes into here, it'll tighten it all up. As you see, there's a bit of a play there. but that's obviously the idea of just having the one O-ring on the front, and then obviously once it slides into the outer barrel, it's going to hopefully sort of tighten it up and make sure that's all seated nicely. So yeah, so with the hop arm facing upwards towards the slot, this goes back in to the outer barrel. Should do anyway. Why is that taking why is that being I feel like it's just a bit stiff and needs a bit of a God, it's not easy. There's nothing blocking it. I think it's just that O-ring around the middle there protrudes quite a bit and making it quite stiff. There we go. I feel like that's still got to go in a little bit further. There we go. So that's now in, and as you can see, that's a lot more secure. Everything's pinched closed. I'm just going to look down one more time, lifting the arm up. That looks good to me. Looks like it's applying a nice bit of pressure anyway, without the arm being in action. So, right. Oh yeah, don't forget our little O-ring that goes on the end here. This is obviously just a barrel stabilizer, I'm guessing. Just make sure it's seated in between the outer barrel there and the inner barrel, and that will just stop the inner barrel wobbling around. There we go, that's in there nicely as well. So now we can slowly start to get this back together. So we'll start with the upper receiver. When we're putting this in, we want to make sure that the little arm in here, that this little arm goes underneath it. Otherwise you're not going to get the hop action that you require. Right, that looks good to me. So we'll screw on the barrel nut. Right, so what I'm going to do is we need to make sure that the screws on here, the 6 screws, line up with the holes on the barrel nut. So before we put the gas block on and everything else, I'm just going to line this up and make sure we are pretty much there, but it needs to go on a little bit tighter. So, which is not a bad thing, because I've just hand tightened it. There we go. Let's have a look now. That looks good to me. Yep, that looks good. So what we will do is pop this gas block thing back on, pop the grub screws back in there. So again, this just slides over. And it's nice and stiff, like everything seems to be on this platform. Just make sure that's nice and straight, like so. And then it was a 2mm. Just tighten these grub screws down. Don't need to go crazy, just snug them down tight, make sure they're not gonna come back out on themselves. Perfect. Now we can pop the handguard back on and do up our 6 torque bolts that go around the handguard. One, two, Why is that one not gone in quite as well? Ah, there we go. And then the two on the side here. Again, like I said in the start of the video, I'll probably be getting different bolts for this area, these 6. Maybe look at getting some titanium ones or something, because these ones are just way too easy to strip. So what I am going to do is just go around and give these a good old tighten. I mean, compared to how they were, I'm not going to go as bad as they were, because my God, they were insane. It's like they almost put this handguard on in a way that no one's going to want to be able to take it off, and I don't really understand that, because obviously this platform is in terms of aftermarket parts, it's probably one of the best platforms to have. Again, just going to snug these up, but without going too crazy. Right, I'm happy with that. What you can also do is with the bolt out, you can look down through the back here, out through. If you look through the window or whatever, you can see where the rubber is, and make sure that that contact patch is nice and square, and yeah, it looks good to me. So final thing I've got to do is build it back up. So the bolt charging handle just hooks over the top here like so, and that slides in the back, and that's that bit done. And then obviously just put in the, I will stick this on first, the little suppressor, flash hider I should say, not suppressor. That's on there nicely. And then lastly, just getting the upper receiver and the lower receiver back together. Firstly, put in the front, make sure it's all lined up, and then the bolt should just push through. There we go. And then obviously the back comes down, and we're just about through. And we're good. That is the bucking and hot rubber changed. Not too painful. I mean, it would have been a lot easier if these bolts weren't as tight as they were, but it is what it is. I'd rather them be too tight than too loose and lose one, obviously. So hopefully now maintenance will be a little bit easier, because the barrel nut and these 6 bolts are not stupidly tight, and I should be able to sort of work on it a bit easier in the future. So next video, we are going to be looking at the more to do with the bolt carrier group. So we'll be taking out the bolt, changing the nozzle return spring. We're going to put in an MPAS valve in there so we can control the power a little bit better, because it is a bit hot at the moment, about 1.3 joules. So it does need to come down a little bit, especially for CQB. Others, I don't think my friends will like me very much. And yeah, that is it for today's video. If you're enjoying this sort of content, please subscribe. It is my goal this year to try and get this monetized, this account monetized. I've got about another 11 months. Things are going really well so far, and I've only been doing this for, well, about 6 or 7 months now. And the sort of feedback and the way the channel is growing has been really positive. So yeah, please subscribe, like the video, comment. Even if it's negative, let me know what I'm doing wrong, because I am learning like you guys. And yeah, we'll keep the videos coming. See you in the next one. Cheers, bye.